This is Kimberly Quinn, host of the Mindcraft podcast, and I can't tell you how much fun I have had doing this podcast. I started when the world closed over the pandemic in an attempt to spread some positivity out there and give people some strategies to enhance their own well-being and reduce anxiety and all of that. Now, 2 years later, we're still going strong and now listened to by 52 countries across the world. And I've even helped some of my students get going with their own podcasts. It's super easy to do. And I'll tell you, if you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it is the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. I'll just explain for you. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It is a ball. Start today. Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion. And today here in Vermont, it's a glorious November day. It's been very mild weather, which is a little weird, but very delightful. And so my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am thrilled to have this chat today. And it's interesting because at this time, right now, it's, of course, Thanksgiving's in a week and a half, I think, roughly. And I want to talk about cultivating contentment. Cultivating contentment, all I have is all I need kind of thing, and being grateful for it. But though this is going to be a little different spin because I do a lot of talks on gratitude. Today, I actually want to talk about a sense of order, helping or assisting to cultivate contentment. So in addition to gratitude, we're talking about, straightening things up in the house. That's really what it comes down to. And my inspiration for today is Sarah Von Brednick. She writes the book Simple Abundance, which is like a daily book that I read in my 30s mostly, and now I'm picking it back up in my 50s. And I like it because it's a page or a page and a half, which is usually all I have the time for in the morning. And so I really want to talk about straightening things up. And I actually came downstairs. I usually do the podcast upstairs. I just like the space better, and especially because clutter just hurts my head. We are currently renovating the downstairs, so I actually came down here to even be more inspired. And I actually came down. I knew our youngest is home for a short while, young adult, just graduated from St. Lawrence, and it's even more inspiring today. She's also my inspiration today because I came down here at 5 or whatever, I don't know what time it is. Was in the morning, and she knew that it bothered me, and she completely put together the downstairs. So it's just as delightful as it can be while we're renovating kind of like the ceiling area, and it looks gorgeous. And so I felt such a wave of mental health enhancement just being down here. She completely feng shuied it. It is just very simple, very Spartan, and very beautiful. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today, because as the holidays approach, this is true for me. The declutter thing is true 365 days a year plus leap year. I just don't like a lot of stuff around me. But during the holidays, it can get, when we, a lot of us are on edge, for a variety of reasons, being thrown together with family we don't necessarily like. Might be just one or two people, and doesn't mean we can't stand them. It might just be like, oh, I got to sit next to so-and-so's. And my brother-in-law, who I never really liked, probably never will like, and just pass the beans, you know what I mean? If we have clutter in a house that's not put together, not in order, that can add to it, because even on a good day, it adds to our mental health. The clutter on the outside causes clutter on the inside, and it's also the reverse. So Sarah starts out her little daily thing here with a quote by Pearl Buck, and Pearl says, "Order is the shape upon which beauty depends." I love that. Order is the shape upon which beauty depends. And if my husband could hear me doing this podcast right now, he'd probably laugh, because I'm no neat freak, but really what I care less about are little dust bunnies. I figure below my knees or above my eyes, I really don't care that much. Behind dust behind the refrigerator, on top of the refrigerator, or under the couch, I just don't care that much. I care about clutter because it just invades my mental space. So Sarah starts out here. She says, for years, I have suspected that in happy and fulfilled lives, domesticity and spirituality are invisibly but inexorably connected. Oh my God, I so agree. One a golden thread, one a silver filament, which, when woven together, create a tapestry of contentment. And I just want to be super clear here, so I'm not kind of encouraging perfection, which is a bad word. You're better off dropping the F bomb than using that word, or sort of, I don't want to say encouraging obsessive compulsive thinking. I don't know how to say that exactly, because obviously those afflicted with or struggling with and working on and working to improve their obsessive compulsive thinking. This is not like kind of throw the ball and run with it situation, right? We're not talking about things neatly ordered in a sense that it fulfills sort of an unhealthy thought pattern. That's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about basically getting some order in the house, throwing out what you don't need, really thinking about that, okay, and keeping only what you absolutely set your heart on fire with love and joy, and meaning, or you actually need it, like the toaster. Other than that, it can go. So she continues here. She says the Shakers, a religious communal sect that flourished in America during the mid 19th century, invoked a prayer each morning for the grace that would enable them to express their love of God through their daily tasks. Tasks as simple and mundane as making a bed. And the 17th century Carmelite friar, Brother Lawrence, wrote in his devotional classic, Practicing the Presence of God, that frequently he felt the Spirit of God among the pots, pans, and potatoes in his kitchen as he was preparing a meal for his fellow monks. Gosh, I love that. I love that. And that's actually taking my head to the movie with Julia Roberts with Eat, Pray, Love. And I'm thinking of when she was at the retreat in India, and how the mundane tasks, regardless what denomination, we're not talking about religion, we're talking about spirituality and, and the universe, if you'd rather say, but how I can really get that about the potatoes, the pots, and the pans, because I know when I cook, it's extraordinarily relaxing. And also there's something about breaking bread. And that doesn't have to, that it can be Christian, right? It doesn't have to be. I'm talking about spirituality. And also, in part of the contentment thing, we have the order in the kitchen, and we're also better able to move around. And I'm thinking too that then the outward expression and lasting result is, food as a cultural thing. When we break bread, it also there's the contentment and the spiritual connection with people, with family and friends, and so this is just going everywhere good. And I remember having a talk with my friend Jeff from St. Mike's about the culture of eating and how it's so much bigger than food, so much bigger than food. It is about connection and also contentment. So Sarah continues. She says, whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed by outside circumstances, worries about money, concern over a sick family member, or anxiety over prolonged business negotiations, instinctively, I turn to homegrown rituals to restore my equilibrium. Wow. And it's amazing how, when I'm getting ready to do these podcasts, you have to know, I'm just not wired for lies. I say it as it is. And I get so much out of doing these that I can't tell you. And I'll look for different things. And I want to, I'm inspired. And I just kind of open myself up. And often what I'm kind of needing to hear myself, to be truthful with you. And right about now, the holidays, and we alternate, and the fam is coming up to us this year. And we're fortunate to have a huge, big family who all really do get along well. And that said, all of a sudden, any, the disorganization and things start to get to me because like we're a big family, so we got to get stuff out of here. We won't be able to move, right? And so it's amazing that also when she's right, she's totally spot on accurate, Sarah Von Brednek, when she talks about how it just can how when we things are stressful on the outside, how organizing a kitchen, cleaning a bathroom, because the difference between cleaning and organizing, right? Though the mundaneness of cleaning, I know helps my head for sure. It helps my husband too. He likes to move and sweep, and he sweeps around. I can tell when he's nervous. He's sweeping everything, and it does calm us down. And also, there's a sense of closure. If things are feeling out of control in our lives, I used to do this in college. I wasn't aware of it though. When I had like 95 papers and 36 exams and everything else, I would go clean my car. At the time, I was, like 18, 19. I didn't know what I was doing. But what I was doing was gaining a sense of agency and control over my life when I felt things were so out of control. So, there's a lot to be said for cleaning a closet, organizing a kitchen to feel better. I mean, that's real. Sarah goes on to say that there is an immediate emotional and psychological payoff to getting our houses in order. Oh my gosh, that is so true. I just personally, sometimes I lose the juice because of my fast mind. I am so grateful. Like I said, our youngest did all this for me. There's no bigger gift she could give me right now. It's beautiful down here. So there's an immediate emotional and psychological payoff to getting our houses in order, no question. And again, for me, the car. We might not be able to control what's happening externally in our lives, but we can learn to look at our inner resources for a sense of comfort that nurtures and sustains us, which is basically what we were just saying about just, a closet, anything. And for me, I know, because we're in this right now with the renovating the downstairs. And like I said, our daughter just did this, starting with the guest room downstairs. Once we get a grip on one room or closet, no matter what the size of your living space is, we have an immediate sense of closure, and that's dopamine. Just like most people, I think, are aware, dopamine is one of the feel-good neurotransmitters. It also gives us a sense of closure. And so you clean that closet or cupboard, and then all of a sudden it's like a mojo, right? It's motivation to do the cupboard next to it, or to do the room next to it, and then it helps the head. The head just knows there's momentum coming. Plus, let's say it is a whole room that looks good. Now you have one place to be that won't drive you insane, which is the case in our house right now. So then she says, I have even noticed that there is a direct correlation between the days when I'm feeling depressed and the days when the house is in disarray. I suspect that I'm not alone. It's not the tragedies that kill us, Dorothy Parker once observed. It's the messes. Boy, isn't that the truth? And sort of the proof in the pudding is what we're saying is that, I've been doing a lot of episodes on paying attention to how you feel and prioritizing feeling good. So we need to pay attention. This particular talk is about, getting order in the house, but we need to pay attention to feeling good and when we feel good, and we need to kind of stay on top of that to hopefully continue some of those strategies that keep us in a place of feeling good. So she said, if you feel constantly adrift but don't know why, be willing to explore the role that order or lack of it plays in your life. And I'll tell you, I'm aware of this, and I still sometimes I kind of phase out and forget about it sometimes, because if it goes on for too long, where stuff's just, because I told you the renovation thing, when we did the upstairs, I noticed that I started to have a little, mood shift. And then when it goes on for a while, you kind of forget, wait. We got to make some changes here because I'm not feeling at my best here. My husband noticed it too. When we did the kitchen, we waited for 20 years to be able to do it. So when we did it, we really ripped things out, and we had to make a path to get from the front door to our bedroom, no joke. And so just stuff, and I didn't even, and I try to throw stuff out. I'm not a pack rat at all. I couldn't believe, because it was every pan, every this, every candle. And he even picked up on it. He said, oh my God, I can't take this one more minute. And we just had to kind of, thankfully, it was at a time of year when we could be outside and go on the deck and not be where we could hardly walk because it was starting to really affect our heads. And that said, I want to be very careful with a disclaimer that obviously this is, there are far worse things. It's a first world issue. And that we were very grateful to be able to redo the kitchen after living in the house for 21 years. Very, very grateful indeed. I mean, the cabinets, the plastic junky cabinets are literally falling off. And but I still want to do a disclaimer with that that example is simply I'm using the example to express how clutteredness affects our emotional mood, because it does. And though we are certainly grateful that we were able to redo things. Then she says, no bracket person can think clearly when constantly surrounded by clutter, chaos, and confusion. Sarah says no woman, so I just changed it to no one, no people, no person. No person can think clearly when constantly surrounded by clutter, chaos, and confusion, no matter who is responsible for it. And I've had this talk with my Minecrafters too, and they're living in dorms, right? So no matter what the size of the living space, in a first-year dorm, as I'm sure many of you know, is like a cubby. It's like living in a mailbox. It's two people kind of stacked on top of each other in a loft. Usually the walls are cement, like where I went to school at my beloved St. Mike's. Champlain has some beautiful older buildings, but still the rooms are very small. And so no matter how small, you can still declutter. You can declutter your desk and, the area you sleep, and minimize it no matter what. And students have report like, wow, because it opens the door for creativity also. When you clear off that desk as a student without any other space, it just opens everything up, and it's just so much healthier. Begin to think of order not as a straitjacket of shoulds. Make the bed, wash the dishes, right? Take out the garbage, but as a shape, the foundation for the beautiful new life you are creating. Oh, I love this. It may be as simple as putting something back that you take out. I'm actually good at that, I have to tell you. It drives me nuts when other people don't do it. Like when you rip open a tea bag and the wrapper's there. I see little tea bags around the counter. I throw it away immediately because I can't stand it. And so there's immediate relief when you do that too. So that she says, sorry, it was maybe as simple as putting something back that you take out, hanging something up that you take off. That's another thing that drives me nuts. Or teaching those you live with, who live with you, that they must do the same for the common good of all. Man, Sarah is singing my tune right there. Just think about it. If you have 3 or 4 people in the house, even 2 people in the house, if you both hung stuff up, my husband's probably laughing and he's hearing me through the walls right now, because I'm not the best jacket hanger upper. I'm the best when I take out a hammer, I put it right back. I just can't stand it. So if everybody did that in the house, think of how easy it would be, and how much easier it would be to keep the house, pretty orderly. Okay, so when we're talking about cultivating contentment, and this is one aspect, right? Because again, I do a whole lot with gratitude. And as you're going from room to room, or if you're doing cupboard to cupboard, depending on the space, or if you're doing closet to closet, or if you're doing corner to corner of a very small in-home office, or just your own space in a studio apartment, corner to corner, literally. Cobwebs, getting out, getting the dust off the walls. I know we have dust sticks to our walls. And you get the broom, and all of a sudden, wow, who knew the paint looked that good, right? And kind of, I don't know, regardless of talking about spirituality, not religion, bless each room, bless each cupboard, just thank you. Thank you that I have this cupboard. Thank you that I have this room. Thank you that I have this newly cleaned, orderly room. Thank you that my head feels so much better in here. Thank you that the room now is so inviting, or the cabinet is so inviting, or now it's so spacious because I got rid of all the food that had expiration dates on it. And go from one cabinet to the next, just blessing it all. Grateful for all that we have. And then Sarah winds up and she says, there is a divine order, a sublime order inherent in the universe. We can tap into this powerful source of creative energy when we are willing to gradually cultivate a sense of order as to how we conduct our daily affairs. Invite, I love the invite divine order into your life today, and a more serene tomorrow will unfold. Just so true. And this is actually a basic order, the basic theme of feng shui. China, I believe it's Chinese. It goes back, centuries and centuries. And it's much bigger than just cleaning out a room. But the idea with the part that is about decluttering is about you want to be in there. So I'm thinking of the room our daughter did last night in the wee hours, because it wasn't like this when I went to bed. She's a night owl. I'm sitting down here. It's just very Spartan. There's a bookcase, a very dimly lit kind of a spa lamp that she got from someplace, and kind of a little palm tree and like a clock. I mean, it's fabulous in here. And the feng shui, because the feng shui thing is you want to be in there. Well, I tell you, I looked in the door and it said do a podcast right here, because it doesn't hurt my head. It's open to creativity. It's so empty, and empty in a nice way, empty in a you want to be in here way, because the inviting thing is huge in cultivating contentment. So again, Sarah says, invite divine order into your life today, and a more serene tomorrow will unfold. That's it. This is excellent. All right then, this is Kimberly Quinn signing off from my wonderfully new feng shui room in my downstairs. Have a mindful, very decluttered day.